Hi, it's Amy and I have Kanan with me today, and we're going to do something a little different. So on my website I have a few posts about Universal, but so far on this channel we only have live videos, so we wanted to do our first Universal video, and I wanted to have Kanan here help me. Why don't you sit up a little bit? Okay. So I wanted to have Kanan here help me, so what we're going to talk about today, do you want to say?
We're going to be talking about our top 5 favorite rides at Universal. She has her top 5 and I have my top 5.
Yeah, so we both have our top 5, and I will say ahead of time that Kanan and I really do love thrill rides, so this is kind of a good list if you do like those thrill rides, but we do have a few things on this list that are the more screen-based rides and rides that are good for pretty much the whole family. So we'll kind of share each one, and then we'll kind of talk about them, and we'll go from there. So these are just our top 5, and we'll start at number 5. So what's your number 5 favorite ride?
Hulk.
And 5 is also one of my, the Hulk is also my number 5, but it's tied with another one. It's tied with Transformers. So to me, the Hulk is a really fun roller coaster. It's the fastest one, but it is kind of just your typical roller coaster. The queue is fun. Kanan really liked that.
Oh yeah, the lines. It felt like you were actually in some sort of nuclear base.
Nuclear.
Yeah,
Nuclear.
nuclear. You get it.
You did. It was really a fun queue, and I mean most of the queues at Universal are a lot of fun, but we enjoyed that. The one thing that I thought didn't really set it apart was the ride itself. It's kind of like any roller coaster at like a Six Flags or something like that, so it wasn't really something that I thought didn't really set apart the Hulk ride too much, was that it's just like any other ride that you could go on at, say, Six Flags or something like that. So that was why it only made it to number 5 for me. A lot of fun, but it just wasn't, it wasn't really that unique. And it tied with Transformers, which actually was a really fun ride and a unique experience. But it made a lot of these screen-based rides do make me really motion sick, so that's why it's so far down on my list. I do love Transformers, I love the ride, I love the queue, but it had to be down there on the list just because it made me sick. So, and both of our number 4 rides are also screen-based rides, so what's yours?
The Simpsons ride. That was fun.
And that's a pretty good ride. I think the height limit on it was a little lower, so that'd be a pretty good ride for most of the family. And Kanan isn't really familiar with The Simpsons, but he still loved it. I mean, he went on it back to back, and I couldn't handle it it made me really dizzy, but it is a really fun ride, but just be careful if you get motion sickness. You will probably get it on this ride. And my number 4, sadly, is the Forbidden Journey over in Hogsmeade in Hogwarts Castle. I really loved the ride, but there is part of it where they're going through the Quidditch field and it's spinning, and oh, I couldn't do it. So that's why it's so far down on my list. If it didn't make me feel sick, it would definitely be higher up there on the list. Same with the Transformers. It's kind of the same thing.
Oh, and guess what? The Forbidden Journey was, the second time we rode the Forbidden Journey ride, it was my first mechanical mess up on a ride. Yay.
Yes, we did get stuck on the Forbidden Journey, and we were kind of sitting like straight back, like almost laying back, so that was kind of weird, but we weren't stuck for very long, maybe 5 minutes. But we were stuck right under the spider area, so it's a good thing neither of us are really terrified of spiders.
I am.
Not like some people.
Well, some people were like this. We with their heads over here. That, I'm so glad we didn't get stuck in that
Yeah,
position.
we weren't upside down. Okay, so number 3. What's your number 3 favorite ride?
The Transformers ride. That one was fun.
We already talked about that a little bit. That one's really awesome. Really great queue. Really great ride. Really unique. They also have a meet and greet. We got to meet Optimus Prime.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
And I think you can also meet some of the others, like Bumblebee. And my number 3 was Hollywood Rip Rocket. Kaden didn't like this one so much because when you start out, you know how on most roller coasters you start out and you're like, well, on this ride, it's straight up in the air and then it goes. And it's just so much fun because it's a true roller coaster. The fun fact about a Hollywood Rip Rocket is you never actually go upside down because they have barrel rolls, So you're actually never truly upside down, even though it feels like it because you are spinning, but it's actually, you're never really upside down. So that's just a fun fact about that ride. But another fun fact about that ride is there is a secret song list which you can listen to. So make sure to ask about that.
And about that same song that you haven't mentioned at all, that you can turn on songs while on that ride.
Yes, what I thought what made it unique is you can choose a song and you can listen to it on the ride, and it just kind of makes it a more fun experience. You can choose your song, for you. So everyone's experience is a little different. And then if you buy the DVD, it actually has your song playing, unless you're doing the secret list. It's not on there if you do the secret list.
Oh, and if you don't pick, it will still play a song. Because it just randomly picks if you don't click in it.
But you might want to choose because there's a really interesting variety on there. So you might want to make sure you get something that you want.
I didn't really know anything about these songs, so I just randomly picked things.
Yeah. So, but I chose most of the times that I went. I chose the song "Paralyzer" by Finger Eleven, and so every time I hear that song now, I'm definitely going to think of that ride. So that was number 3 for me, and his was Transformers, which was another good ride. So Transformers was definitely top of the list for both of us. Now number 2
for me is number 2 is another Harry Potter ride called Gringotts.
Escape from Gringotts.
Yes,
yeah, Escape from Gringotts.
Yeah.
So the Gringotts ride. We'll talk more about it in a minute. But yeah, really awesome ride over. It's the only ride as of now over in Diagon Alley. So the only ride over there. And my number 2 was The Mummy. Kenan wasn't a fan. Now the Mummy, I really like it because it's so unique. It's an inside roller coaster. So if it's a hot day, or maybe if it's a little chilly or rainy, it's a really good, way to get away from any kind of weather. And it's in the dark, which is really unique, and so it's a little scary. You go backwards for a minute. But it's truly a roller coaster. It's fast, so I really enjoyed it. In fact, if I was into the Mummy movies, I probably would have ranked it number 1. However, I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter, not a fan of the Mummy movies, so it couldn't have been my number 1, but it was very, very, very close. If it was a Harry Potter themed ride, but the same ride, it would have been my number 1 for sure. So let's go ahead and get to our number 1. So Kenan's number 1 we already talked about a little bit.
Forbidden Journey.
Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
Really liked it.
I liked it too. It just made me kind of sick, so that's why it's so far down on my list. But yeah, it's a really good ride. Now, one thing that we didn't mention is that even though this video is being filmed in July of 2019, the last time that we went to Universal was in May. So it was right before Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure ride opened up. And so I've heard amazing things about that ride. I can't wait to go. We haven't been on it yet, so I'm sure it'll probably make top 5 for both of us, but we haven't been yet, so we can't count that yet. So this is not counting Hagrid's. I'm sorry. We'll probably make a new list once we are able to do that. So my number 1, we already talked about a little bit, is
Gringotts.
Gringotts. I love that ride. It's so fun. It has some screens in it, but it's also an actual ride. I love the dragon. I love, you see Voldemort, you see Bellatrix. It's just so much fun.
And his pet.
Oh, you see Nagini? It's so much fun, and it's so, I don't know if we touched on this or not, but the queues for the Harry Potter rides are amazing. I mean, you could, even if you don't like rides or you get too sick, you should definitely walk through because they're just so good. And I think that walking through Gringotts, it makes you feel like you're at, like, a real Gringotts. The entire Wizarding World of Harry Potter is very, very immersive, and the rides are no exception. So to me, that was just the best, and Gringotts was absolutely number 1. And Kanan's number 1 was also a Harry Potter ride.
Wait,
so
we both got very high rankings for the Gringotts ride. Mine was number 2 for it, and yours was number 1. So shouldn't that make it best ride?
Pretty much is, yeah. Well, we can call it the best ride.
Yeah, best ride there. It's one ride that you should definitely go on.
Yeah, you should definitely go on it. Do you want to talk about maybe rides at Universal, and I should have mentioned this maybe at the beginning, but we are talking about rides from both Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. So, just to go over really quickly, Gringotts is at Universal. The Mummy is at Universal. Rip Rocket is at Universal. Forbidden Journey is at Islands of Adventure. The Hulk is at Islands of Adventure. Transformers is at Universal. And Simpsons is at Universal. So it's very evenly split. Our rides that we chose are very evenly split between the two parks. We would recommend that you get the park-to-park ticket because that's the only way to ride
the Hogwarts Express. Yes, you can ride it. You can ride it from Islands of Adventure to Universal, and from Universal to Islands of Adventure.
You can, and it's different both ways. And you cannot ride it unless you have a park-to-park ticket. They check. When you go through, they do check. So you have to make sure you have that park-to-park ticket. It is worth it. It's not like with Disney when it's kind of hard to get in between the parks in a day. It's very easy. You can actually go back and forth. Honestly, as long as the line for Hogwarts for the Hogwarts Express isn't too long, and even if it is, you can go around the other way. It's not that big of a deal. Very worth it. So we are talking about both parks. We might make a video later about best rides at either park, but for now, we're talking about both. So let's really quickly just touch on rides that we didn't like so much.
I already know the thing with this one.
We definitely, we'll start out with, just in general, I don't love the screen-based rides. They definitely have to be something that I'm interested in. I did think the Minions ride was a lot of fun. It was really cute. It made me kind of dizzy, but it was still a lot of fun. So I definitely did like that one. Not a top 5, but it was pretty cool. And then there were just a couple that I just wasn't a fan of. I know Kong is a really popular ride, and it was okay. It was alright, but I just didn't think it was amazing. And then the new Fast and the Furious ride, new as of 2018.
That's the king of the worst of all rides.
It's similar to Kong, but just really bad.
Oh yeah. Imagine the worst ride you've ever been on. That's exactly
you kind of get on
Fast and Furious.
You kind of get on a bus, a party bus.
Oh, and the queue is not exciting at all. You're just in a garage.
I mean, if you're really into Fast and the Furious, which, I mean, honestly, when they first came out and I was a teenager, I did like them, but, I mean, I'm not a huge fan anymore, but even, having liked them at the time, I didn't find it interesting. It was bad acting, you have the screens on the side of you, but you're not really doing anything, and it was just so stupid, and honestly, I know that we're not the only people who feel this way, so hopefully they do something about that, change it, get rid of it, something. But the other one that I wasn't a huge fan of, which Kenan did like it, not a top 5, but he liked it, was the Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon. Now, I will say that I have not watched the show. So maybe, but I'm familiar with Jimmy Fallon, but I just think that if you were really into the show, maybe you would like it more, but I just didn't find it good at all, and I think NBC owns Universal, so maybe that's why they put it in there, but I just didn't think it was great. It was okay. I wouldn't ever think about going on it twice. I wasn't like getting in line to go again.
Do you have any more worse ones? Because I'm out.
No, most of the rides were really good.
Well, in that case, we have no reason to keep the video going. Well, looks like this is the end of our first video.
Yep, so if you like this video, make sure to subscribe. We'll definitely be adding more Universal videos coming very soon. I also have a few Universal blog posts, so make sure to check out the links down below to read those. So let us know in the comments if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.